Hi, I'm Cassie.
And I'm Mariah.
And this is the Cassie and Mariah Show, a podcast where two long-distance internet friends, that's us, discuss navigating their 20s through disability and chronic illness. Mariah, how are you?
Hi. I am doing good. I know I always say that, but I feel like this...
Is it true?
But this week I feel like it is, actually, to an extent. We'll get to that later. But I feel like... this week I've had some good moments. I've had some good, epic capitalist moments. I worked, 10 hours one day this week.
Took me a minute to process that. Yep.
I worked, a 10-hour day this week which I it's at the Crystal Shop, but I like calling it, the Mines. I'm like, I work 10 hours in the Mines, and my dad's always like, what does that mean? And I'm like, it's a secret joke I have with myself.
You should call it the Curio Shop. Also, was that email you sent me the other day supposed to be imitating the guy from the Curio Shop? Because that's how I read it in my head.
I know, I was trying to imitate a cowboy.
Oh, well, I read it in the voice of the Curio Shop guy.
I do. That was my favorite shop on Webkins. I'd always go there. Mine every day.
Oh, yeah.
I should be here for Halloween this year. That'd be really funny.
Wow.
We're starting off this episode on a good foot.
I could be the doctor. What is fucking Dr. Duck? Donald Duck.
He has a whole lore to him that he you ever see that stuff where people say that he would kill your Webkins if you brought it to him? I was always seen doctored YouTube videos where they would bring their Webkin to him and he'd put their animal down.
What? What? No.
You gotta be you would totally be I think she was a cow. She ran the school. She was a dean of the school.
Yeah.
That's you.
Oh, yeah.
That's us. I am Artie from the Curio Shop, and you're the cow that runs the school. I think she was a cow. I don't remember her name.
No, I can picture exactly. Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
It was a good school, though. Lots of things learned. Anyway, yeah, 10-hour workday. I kind of enjoyed it. So it's kind of crazy. I had a really good muffin that morning, so I think it just set me off on a good foot. I also got a new tarot deck that day, and I feel like I always go back and forth on actually giving into my intuition and letting this universal force in my head guide me throughout life. But I do think it's a way to be it's recreational delusion. I'm just gonna be you know what, I'm just gonna have fun, and then I'll just be normal. But I don't know, it's always just it's fun to just, I guess, step back and be what's mine will come to me. I shouldn't force certain scenarios, or I shouldn't force certain things to happen to me, because I think that, whatever I deserve in life, I will find one way or another, or it will find me. And I just be living like that. So I got a new tarot deck, and I was reading some cards for myself last night, and the one card I pulled was the Princess of Pentacles, which the pentacle suit represents money. It represents stability. It's a very grounding card. It's very it's almost like a universal sign sort of thing. And that card represented having this new look on the world, and almost just having this look where you're wow, there's endless possibilities of what I could have in my life. And I was okay, true. Love that.
Oh.
So I really enjoyed that little reading I did for myself last night. I tried a new hemp seltzer, which hemp seltzer is kind of just it's a sparkling water, a seltzer water, but it has, this brand in particular had 25 milligrams of hemp infused in it. It's not THC, it's not stuff that's specifically getting you stoned in any way. It's just how CBD works in your body, where it just helps you relax. And I had that, and I hated the flavor that I got. I got a pineapple kale flavor, which I know it does not sound appealing, but I really like pineapple, and I really like kale. I am a kale salad girl. I love kale, but I did not like that flavor.
I just can't think of anything I'd want to drink less.
They also, see, the other contenders were lemon, apple, ginger, which I hate ginger, so I wouldn't have had that. And orange mango, which, like, I feel like that one probably wouldn't be as bad. I like mango. It's an acquired taste, though, because it's one of those fruits that's like dragon fruit where I don't really think it tastes like anything. Like, it doesn't have, like, a bold flavor to it. It's a very subtle fruit. Mango.
I disagree strongly. I think it's one of the most flavorful fruits.
Interesting.
I mean, not compared to orange, though. That's why I had such a roller coaster of because I'm like, orange, I don't know, orange is such a punchy flavor that I'm like, I think it would outshine the mango.
Right, so that's why I was like, maybe I'll try that one. I don't know, I just was like, mango in a seltzer, though, I feel like that flavor balance may not be like, I don't feel like it'll be a good flavor, like, to have a bubbly mango drink.
That's how I also feel thinking about bubbly kale.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, kale is, like, kind of the last thing that you would put in, like, a seltzer drink.
Cassie, take a deep breath. You're not going on another seltzer non-alcoholic drink rant. There was a whole episode for that.
Anyway, I did like, there's another brand I tried this week that it was a blackberry seltzer with lemon and rosemary, and that was a hemp seltzer. Hit the mark.
Steven, you lost me at the rosemary. I'm like, why do you gotta make it floofy? It's not bathroom air freshener.
I didn't even really taste any rosemary in it. It was really just blackberry lemon, which I love blackberry and I love lemon.
That sounds good.
It was delicious. So that one was very good. I'm on a hemp seltzer kick. Like, it's like if I don't want an iced coffee, I'll get a hemp seltzer somewhere. Because it helps, like, I like to think that it helps calm me down. I don't actually know if that's true or not, but I think it does. Anyway, I got, speaking of coffee, I got some new Chamberlain coffee flavors this week. I ordered them because I had some birthday money, so I was like, let's get it. I got her, she has like a vanilla, it's like fluffy lamb vanilla and sweet otter cake batter flavors. And I get like the cold brew bags, like the singles bags, because they're great to make like 1 cup of coffee. I don't really make a whole pot for myself. And with those bags, they're like tea bags. So you can make like cold brew with them. You steep it for 12 to 24 hours or whatever. So I made a few of them this week. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I actually have my coffee cup right now that has the cake batter one in it. And today I made it hot. I do think the vanilla flavor is a lot stronger than the cake batter one. I don't really taste the cake batter too much, but like I also wasn't really knowing, like I really didn't know what to expect when I tasted it. Like,
right.
I'm like, because wouldn't like cake batter to you almost sound like it would be a vanilla flavor?
Yes. It's just interesting to think about too, and I'm somebody who doesn't know a ton about coffee, so it's like, to me it's hard to picture coffee tasting like anything but coffee, whereas like vanilla and cake batter and that kind of stuff to me is like stuff you add, right. Which like obviously it is like something that's added into the mix to make it taste like that, but I'm just picturing like most of my coffee experience is getting espresso drinks, and obviously they add syrups and stuff to make it taste like those things, so I guess it's hard for me to fully imagine how they would make it come through. I feel like the vanilla may be easier, but it's also a more common flavor. I'm surprised, is that, you said that one was newer too?
Yeah, so both flavors, well, okay, so like she's had the flavors in the bag forms, but now they're new in the cold brew bags.
Oh.
So that's okay. That's what I mean, where it's like it's new, but like they're new in like the cold brew bags.
Gotcha.
The vanilla one, yeah, because it's like the vanilla one was interesting because it's like Madagascar vanilla. So it's like, you know how like vanilla beans, they have like, that's how they make the vanilla. I'm pretty sure it's like that mixed in with the coffee. So it's like that's how you get that taste.
So good.
Honestly, it was delicious. It was really good as a cold brew, and it's just, it has a nice like aroma to it, and you can taste the vanilla. It is very subtle, so it's not like a sweet like flavor like you would say about coffee, like adding a vanilla shot when you get an espresso.
Do you drink like when you make it, do you just drink it straight when it's done brewing the next day, or do you add any milk or anything?
I add very little oat milk to it to just kind of like balance it out.
I mainly ask because I'm a weak little coffee baby. So for context, a while ago, I can't even remember when. I don't think it was Christmas because that would have had to have been 6 months ago, and I don't believe that. But a while ago, Mariah sent me some of you had to have been sending me something else that wasn't Christmas, right?
Didn't you buy a card stand from me?
Okay, that must have been what it was. But she sent me some of the Chamberlain coffee, like, single packets that she had, and so I had tried the Careless Cat one before, whatever it's called, the green one, and because you had sent me them for a Christmas sometime or sometime.
Yes.
I don't know, time not real. But this was the first time I had made one as cold brew, mainly because that sounded intimidating before, when really all you do is fill a glass with some water and put it in and leave it in the fridge overnight.
Right.
And so it's actually very straightforward. And I'm actually able to do it independently, whereas I can't reach to do hot water myself. So I was like, winning. I was like, wow, coffee girl. But I mean, I measured the 8 ounces of water because I was like, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. And so I did that. And then the next morning I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to fill the rest of my cup with milk, mainly because I was drinking it because I have milk I need to use up. And so I was like, yeah, this works. I'll just fill the rest of the glass with milk. And honestly, for me, that was perfect, like with the size of glass I had. And then I did add some chocolate syrup I had that I was also trying to use up. Listen, I'm just trying to substitute going and buying $5 coffees. So I think I'm winning.
Exactly. And like, that's what was like my inspo getting these cold brew bags, because I prefer cold brew over an iced coffee or an iced latte. Because to me, it's just like you get more coffee, you get more like caffeine content in a cold brew.
It was really good. Like, genuinely, the thing I made was better than any of the coffee any espresso drink I could buy.
No, literally, like, the cold brew bags are so handy. They make the perfect amount of coffee, and they're always smooth. Like, it's always a smooth taste.
So smooth.
Yeah, and when you add a little bit of milk or, like, chocolate or two, it's like, you still get the taste of the coffee. It doesn't, whatever you add in it doesn't overpower it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm going to start doing the cold brew again, but the thing is, like, I always add a little bit more than the 8 ounces of water because, like, I like sometimes when it's 8 ounces, it's too strong. Like, the flavor's too strong. Although, when you add milk to it, that also dilutes it as well.
Exactly.
But I'm like, okay, you know what? I should do, like, 10 ounces of water, and then when I add milk to it, like, it'll be fine. Like, if I let it steep for more than 12 hours, it's going to be strong anyway. So, yeah, I'm excited for that cold brew tomorrow morning.
So to break the fourth wall here, Mariah and I, we just have a doc we share where we write our notes for the show, and I decided this week to write some of my check-in notes in a separate document because we never get that. Like, when we send each other audio messages, we don't have notes to know what the other person's gonna say, and so I wanted to add some suspense. And so this starts the list of things I didn't tell Mariah. So the Careless Cat coffee is half calf.
Yes. I
chugged it before I went to the doctor, and my pulse was 106.
Oh my God.
They were like, Cassie, what is wrong with you? Which, okay, first of all, something I really hate is when I go to just, like, my normal, like, PCP, I just walk in. I don't take my scooter, mostly because the rooms are tiny, like, and it's a short enough walk that I'm able to do it. Plus I have to, like, get on the scale and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, why, what's the point? And so I always walk in. Well, this time I was a couple minutes late because I exist as a human, and so the second I walk in there and check in, they're ready to take me back, which I'm like, again, I love when doctor's appointments are like a drive-through. I'm like, yes, get me out of here. So it's like, it's like the second I sit down, they're wanting to, like, take all my vitals. And I'm like, bruh, walking is exercise for me. Walking with a KN95 on? It's not even that I can't breathe. It's that I think I might not breathe. So I sit down and I'm panting. You think that's going to be a normal heart rate to begin with? Or normal blood pressure to begin with? Although my blood pressure was extremely normal. It was just my heart rate was 106. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, besties. I strutted in here. It's hot outside. I chugged cold brew before I came. I'm not having a heart attack. And so when I came home and found out that it was only half calf, I was like, imagine if I had drank the other one.
Yeah, because I think the other one I sent you was a full calf, right? It was like 5 out of 5 beans. That's so funny because, like, yeah, I mean, like, it had to do with the mask, and it definitely had to do with just the walking, like, because they do the same thing to me, too. Like, I'll have my mask on, I'll be walking and stuff, and then when they do my O2 sats, my O2 sats are low. And I'm like, no, it's literally because, like, I can't fucking breathe right now from
Yes,
walking.
oh my God. They're like, oh my God, your heart is beating so fast. Like, and I'm like, I'm not even rested yet. Like, not even close.
Right.
So, anyway, I just thought you should know that my doctor thought I was going to have a heart attack. But also, to be fair, I wouldn't normally chug it, but I was like, I need to leave. It was half the reason I was late. I was like, I want to finish this coffee right now. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for withholding that from me to build suspense.
You're very welcome. The next thing on my list may make you shit yourself.
Oh, go ahead.
And you'll probably be mad I didn't tell you. I bought Zelda.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I literally saw on the Switch last night that you were on, like, a few hours before or whatever, like, and I was like, Cassie's on the Switch? What is she playing?
Oh, God, I forgot. I couldn't remember if you could see that type of stuff, but I was like, I don't know, probably not.
How far are you? What's the vibe? Did you literally, like, have you like, played it?
I played it, like, I've only done one sitting of playing it so far, and mind you, I'm playing Breath of the Wild, like, I wanted to play that one first. It was interesting because I was slowly remembering, like, stuff from when I had played, like, my cousin's game and stuff, because I just started a new game. I didn't, like, build off of when I borrowed theirs before. And I was remembering stuff from when I had played before, but also sort of not. Here's my problem. So, obviously, I mean, it actually takes a lot of work to make it out of, like, tutorial land, so, like, I'm not done yet, because, like, I don't know, I just, like, get tired of after a while.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And so, but my thing is, too, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't played other story-based games before, other Zelda games before, but it's, like, I was like, I need to literally look up the tutorial on what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I had to look up a video walkthrough of what I was even supposed to be doing, because I was like, I don't think last time I played it that I figured it out at all. And I'm like, I don't know if I just wasn't following the instructions right before, or, like, even, like, the very first, like, thing, it's like, you know, you're, like, walking around, and then it's like, it's like, Link, like, go to the spot on your thingy, and it, like, shows you the spot, and then I don't know if I just didn't know how to mark it on the map, but then it just, like, disappears. I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, because I can't see the mark anymore, and so, anyway, and so that's a big part of also why I could only play for a few hours, is I was like, oh, it's hard learning. I want it to just be fun, but my theory or assumption is that once I do get through tutorial land, I'll actually be tutored in playing Zelda and be able to actually play the game okay. But I don't know, because I'm like, it isn't very fun having to, you're like, I'm literally having to watch somebody show me how to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I feel like if I were to be playing Breath of the Wild again for the first time, I would probably have to look up how to get through the Great Plateau, because, like, I don't remember, and, like, but I do know those spots that you're talking about where, like, it shows up on the map and then it will disappear. It's like, you have to go into the adventure log and, like, select that quest, and then it will show up, like, you'll have that yellow dot, like, flashing on your map. Because that's, like, I remember, because it's, like, yeah, there's, like, you know, you gotta do, like, the 4 shrines, you gotta do the tower, you have to talk to the old man, like, a bunch of times, because all the shrines are, like, where you're gonna get each, like, piece of, like, like, the stasis or magnesis on, like, how to, like, actually, you know, how to get the stuff on the Sheikah Slate. But,
right.
like, I know, we're, like, when I first started playing that game, like, I didn't leave the plateau for, like, a few weeks, because I didn't even know, like what to do because I wasn't listening to like the directions of what to do and where to go.
Well, even when I would read the directions, it wouldn't make sense really until I saw what they did in the video. And, even in the video, they would do stuff that I didn't even know you could do. I was like, oh, those crates aren't just decoration. If you smash them, you can get stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus, that would have been helpful to know, you know?
You can use a crate
that.
to, hit an enemy with it. Like, if you don't have a weapon, you can pick up a crate, or you can throw your bombs.
Or, you can, when I was doing one of the, I don't know, shrines or whatever, and I could pick up the metal box and I accidentally pushed the robot spider thing into the water, which killed it, and I was like, nice. I was trying to smash it, but I accidentally drowned it instead. So that was pretty satisfying. Or then I'm like, oh look, there's it's duh, not only in that shrine can you use the magnet thing. Yeah, I'm a gamer, guys. But you can then it's oh well, then after you're out of there you can pull the treasure chests out of the water. You can use the door and drag it over to get to the other I'm just literally, I would have not known. I'm like, why? I'm like, give me directions like it's math homework. What? I can't.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to, have stuff like that. I mean, because there's so many things that I, I would always watch those, Zelda, 20 tips, you didn't know about the game before. And, I'll watch stuff and I will be like, wow, I'm floored each time because there's things that I would not know. But you have to definitely keep me updated on playing because now I'm oh, I want to know everything. I wish I could play that game for the first time. I wish I had my memory wiped and I could play that game for the first time because it's very I was wow, it was so breathtaking to me. I was this is iconic.
I'm just I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So it's hard to want to pick it back up, but I'm gonna. It'll be fine.
You could do it.
Everything's fine.
You say as you're struggling.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know if my heart attack at the doctor's made me interrupt you finishing your week. Did you have anything else this week?
I think that was it. I got a new face oil, but...
You are glowing.
Thank you. Well, it's because of my face oil.
I'm obsessed.
So there's this, I've always admired this one girl I follow on Instagram. Her name is Leo with cancer, and she's I think just about to turn 40, and she is a Leo, and she's also struggled with breast cancer throughout her I don't know if it's her whole life, but it's a good chunk of the years, and I she's made this oil that helped her skin when she was going through chemotherapy, and it's she makes it she's a disabled woman, and I'm obsessed with her, and I'm and I love that she's yeah, this is what I do, I make this oil, and if you buy from me, you're supporting me and my life and stuff. And she has this really cute house in the desert and stuff in California, and I just love her. It's a very parasocial relationship because she doesn't know me, she doesn't follow me or anything, but I'm always I love your stuff, Dina, you're great. So I ordered new oil from her, and it's a skincare oil where every time I use it, I swear I never break out. My skin is never red. It's never dry. It's really good to put on, and then put sunscreen over it. You still get a nice glowiness to your skin. So that's why I look so great right now, is because I got my face oil in today and I've been using it.
Literally, your skin looks so good.
Thank you. It's all because of this oil.
So sorry our listeners can't see your glow, but you just have to trust us.
You have to trust us and understand that I'm just glowing, and I just love this oil, and I think it's always worth it. And whenever I run out, I'm I kind of bought it because I had the money from my birthday, so I was I'm gonna treat myself to fun coffee and a new face oil, two very good things. But anyway, how's your week been? What are you up to?
This week's overwhelming because it's my first and only current week of summer vacation. I'll have some more in September, but it's a bit overwhelming. We've talked about this before. I'm not good with the transition between terms. I'm really not, because I get like a week off and I'm like, I feel stressed. I can't relax because I'm like, it's gonna end. I'm like, I only have a few days. So I spent like the first half of this week hanging out with people, and then I'm like, after that I was literally so exhausted that I like physically exhausted for some reason, like no idea why. And then of course I'm sitting here like, well, all I did was hang out with people, blah blah blah. I shouldn't be tired. I shouldn't be fatigued. I shouldn't be in pain. Blah blah blah. It's like, bitch, get over it. You're disabled.
Right. No, literally, like, hanging out with people is a lot sometimes, so.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know why I was sitting here trying to justify the fact, and I think too, I wasn't, like, I literally just needed more sleep, and so once I, like, got caught up on sleep, I felt a lot better, but I'm still, like, kind of in, like, okay, I spent time with people, now I'm, like, sitting here. Because I just, but now I'm, like, entering stress mode, because I'm like, oh my god, I only have, like, 24 hours left of my week of summer. I'm literally acting like it's the end of the fucking world. I'm acting like I have some full-time job. No, you have a part-time 10-week internship. As if you're not going to have weekends. As if you're not going to have afternoons and evenings. Like, the drama, Cassie. Like, but, like, even though I logically understand that, my, like, I can't relax. I'm not chill.
I was going to say, it is like a big transition though, and it's like an internship. Like, it's a lot different dynamic than school was. Like, you know, at least both of them are like, you're able to work from home, like it's remote, but I still get it. I think you should give yourself some grace and let yourself feel stressed, and I'm sure like you'll, like, once you're into it, you're going to feel better. Like, you're going to be like, okay, like, I'm in my routine now, we're fine.
I know, but I just, as I've said before, I just hate, it's not even that it's an internship. It's literally the same thing as, like, spring break. I felt this way. I'm like, because I'm like, my whole schedule is going to be different in a week. Or winter break was a whole other thing for me. But it's just, like, having this, like, 1 week where you're like, yeah, I can hang out and relax, but I can't have, like, a new routine because I'm going to have a new routine next. It's like just being in this, like, waiting period is really inconvenient. I can almost relax better. Yeah, I can relax better when I'm in a routine. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, like, I can just chill or do whatever, or go do this or whatever after I'm done with, like, you know, my homework or whatever. And then it's like, now that'll be, like, after I'm done, like, working for the day or whatever. It's like, I just... Yeah, I think it's like right now having these like open-ended days of like, I just don't like being in transition between things, and at least, and see, that's the thing, September, it might even feel worse. I'm gonna have like 3 weeks of break. Oh my god, I'm gonna get settled, and then boom, another new routine. I'm gonna throw up. Like, yeah.
Lots of change, a lot of things happening over there.
I know. Also, and nobody asked because this is not the Now Playing segment, but listen, I be watching things, and you know what? That's defined the second half of my week. I mean, I played Zelda,
yes.
You know.
Consuming media.
I listen, the YouTube algorithm serves up what's going to serve up, and this week it decided that I should be into the new era of Smosh.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Anthony Padilla's back. How can you not?
They bought Smosh. Used to... Here's the thing. Sketch comedy, I'm not really into it. But, I don't know. I've been watching all their, like, side channels and stuff, and I had never watched any of their stuff before, which is, I guess, kind of surprising because they've been, like, one of the longest, like, creators on YouTube, but... I mean, I was really in the O2L era. I was not in the, like, I just wasn't, like, a sketch comedy person. I was more of a vlogger person.
What's so funny to me is, like, this just came to me like a prophecy right now, is, like, what Hank and John Green are to you is what Anthony and Ian are to me.
I disagree. I think...
No, but, like, you watch these, like, you've been following them, like, their entire career almost, and that, like...
John and Hank are so, no offense to our avid listeners, the Green brothers, but they're so much older than me that I'm like, they've also been on the internet forever, but I wouldn't say I feel like they were a later era for me. They were more of an after O2L. And for those who don't know, O2L was our second life. It was a collab channel. Literally everything I'm saying right now is the most 2011 stuff I've ever heard. It was like, oh god, let's see, it was Connor Franta, Kian Lawley, JC Caitlin.
I like can't. I knew them, and I knew, what's the other guys? Like Nash Greer, and then like the Viners.
Ew.
MagCon.
No.
I wasn't a fan of them, but like, I knew they existed because people would be like, they would see a garbage can and be like, OMG, Nash Greer.
We're not even going to mention MagCon and O2L in the same room. That's how dare we as even remotely. They're not the same. in defense of O2L. Anyway, but no, like, I mean, I feel like I've gone in waves because I feel like I went kind of like O2L, and then like really out of that, I still only watch like Connor. Then I watched, like, other, I feel like, miscellaneous stuff, but, like, you know, the Vlogbrothers, like, kind of appeared in that time, and then I got into my BuzzFeed era, and it's been, like, basically the Try Guys, and, like, now Watcher, which was, like, the BuzzFeed Unsolved people, and so, anywho, so it's a little surprising I had never watched Smosh, but to bring that together, they do this thing called like funeral roast, and so I watched the Try Guys funeral roast, which then I was like, dang, some of these people are cute. Because that's really the only reason I watch things. I mean, no, they were also funny, I guess, you know. And so then, of course, as soon as they bought Smosh, again, words are hard. As soon as they did that, then YouTube was like, look at that, they did that. And I was like, what does that mean? Because I knew nothing about Smosh. Yeah. And then I just started watching but I'm like, that's a really good time to get into something that's been around for a long time. Because you feel like you're entering on the new era, and so you're like, I can ride this.
Yes, yeah, like, you know? They have a lot of stuff on their, like, second channels and things, and, like, Anthony's, like, whole series of, like, his, like, I spent a day with, like, other content creators and stuff, like, his personal stuff, like, after he left Smosh, that was, like, what he was doing, and I just watched the one, because he just came out with one with Ian, and that's what I watched, where, like, you know, it goes through all the eras of, like, like, when they lost Smosh, when they, you know, was bought by this company, and then when they tanked it, and then, like, who owned it afterwards, like, all of this stuff. And it's, like, I guess when, like, Anthony left Smosh, it's kind of, like, when I fell out of it, because he was, like, my favorite. But, like, you know, because then I had all the other, like, characters and everybody else in it. But I'm like, oh, like, I'd really get back into it now, because he's back. And, like, they do want to do a lot of the same, like, stuff that they did before, which, like, that's what I, like, that was, like, my thing. When I would come home from, like, doctor's appointments, or I would have, like, long hospital. Like, I remember I had a sinus surgery on a Friday, and then that weekend, I spent my entire weekend watching Smosh videos, and I feel like I've watched, like, all of them that weekend. Because they would do, like, their, like, lunch mail vlogs, where they would go get lunch and then come home and open mail, and, like, just read the silly shit that people wrote them, and I'm like, wow, like, this is iconic. But you have to watch all the food battle videos. That's what I don't think I'll
go back and watch anything. I think I'm just I will watch every new thing that comes out moving forward, and I really look forward to that. I have watched every single thing that Anthony's been. The thing is, I can't tell how I feel about him. I'm like, I maybe it's because he gives off, like, cool guy vibes, not in a mean way. I don't mean that in a mean way, but more like, I'm watching you on a screen and I'm still, like, kind of intimidated by you. Like, I'm like, cool, hot, funny guy vibes? That scares me. He gives off perfect guy vibes, which bothers me personally. I'm like,
I can see that.
Expose your flaws. Do you invest in crypto?
Well, he is sponsored by BetterHelp, so maybe that's the flaw.
That's most internet men's flaw.
Yeah. But we love him. We thank him for his service. He put Scene Boys on the map.
Indeed. That's good. I do also want to say that I finally stopped watching Ice Princess over and over and over and did move on to Princess Diaries.
Okay. One princess to another.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about me.
I'm still watching BoJack Horseman, so you can now worry about me instead. Because I'm almost at the 6th season, and that's where it gets rough. Not in, like, quality, it's just, like, the character dynamics and stuff get rough during that season, because a lot of people get exposed for their, like, horrible things that they've done throughout the show. So, it's a lot. But, yeah, I'm watching BoJack Horseman, and I've restarted The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So, if you're wondering how I'm doing, it's a little unwell. Microdosing unwellness.
Oh, no.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about going through what feels like our quarter-life crisis and what symptoms we have that are defining this experience for us right now.
That's actually what I want to say first, is that I think I already went through mine, like, a couple years ago. And so I'm like, am I in the clear?
Is another one looming on the horizon?
Well, and that's the other thing, is I feel like I may just, because, okay, I found this Forbes article that was like, signs you're having a quarter-life crisis. And, like, kind of the main thing is just, like, that you have, like, anxiety over the direction and quality of your life. And, like, I feel like I already, like, went through that. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I'm like, I already went through that, like, in terms of, like, you know, like, even right before COVID, I was, like, thinking, oh, like, you know, like, I was, like, at the time, I was, like, oh, like, half access fulfills my need to work in the music industry. I was, like, I don't think I want to really work in music marketing or anything like that. Otherwise, I was like, maybe I should do, you know, something else for an actual, like, paid career. Maybe I should be a teacher, you know, stuff like that. Then COVID hits, and I'm really, like, after that, I was really like, okay, I'm definitely not going to be working in the music industry. And that's when, like, obviously, I've already told my whole life story on here, you know, in terms of changing paths and heading in, like, the advocacy and public policy, public service, like, direction. And so in that regard, like, it feels like I already went through that huge change. But then also, like, having ADHD, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna perpetually have this every time I hang out with my friends my age, I'm literally like, so what should I be when I grow up? And I feel like I'm never gonna stop asking that question. My dad still asks that question. He'll just randomly be like, so what should I be when I grow up? Or he'll be like, when I grow up, I want to be, and I'm like, yeah, that's literally gonna be me, because I also get bored so easily, and I don't know. I feel like I like to think about life too much, and so then this just happens. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, so do you think that you're feeling that way now still, or that was more of just...
Oh, for sure. Especially being in school and having a year till I graduate. I'm like, great, now I'll have to actually pick something and stick with it. That's disgusting.
So I don't think that you're over your quarter-life crisis then.
Oh, no. I think I went through the big one, the big thickens. Okay. In terms of, like, completely shifting direction, whereas now they're, like, micro crises in terms of, like I said, now I think it's just the perpetual crisis of, like, okay, I know I want to work in public service, but, like, I think I'm just going to be questioning what actual specific job I want to do within that, probably for the rest of my life. I mean, not that I'll do a job for the rest of my life, but that I'll be questioning it for the rest of my life, So when we record around our 50th birthdays, and we're having our midlife crises, I'll be like, yeah, I've been having the crisis ever since we last recorded about this.
The quarter-life crisis just leads right into the midlife crisis.
But no, I do feel like as I get closer to graduation, it intensifies, but also, and this relates to, like, me feeling stressed about my week of break, is, like, I am so looking forward to graduating and taking a month off from doing anything and just hanging out with you, because I'm like, I literally need a break. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have been going nonstop since I was like 15. I need to just chill.
Yeah, no, like, because even for you, it's like, yeah, like high school to community college and then to like doing half access and just doing like all the work in between and then going back to school. And like, yeah, it's really like, it's like this nonstop, like, it's like you're constantly building this momentum, but then like you get to a point where like, I need to not do this anymore. Like, I need to just have time to like not do anything. So I get that.
But no, I definitely, I mean, I do think about like, yeah, no, I mean, I think about like when I graduate, because I'll be like, oh God, I have to like get a job that can like support me. And like, that's been, I feel like, a big thing I've been thinking about lately is I'm like, because, and I feel like we'll have to do a whole episode on money in the future, but I'm like, I feel like I have no real concept of like how much, like, I feel like I couldn't guess how much money like my friends make annually, because I have lived through such weird financial like sources of income throughout my young adulthood that I just like it's hard to necessarily even know like what like salary range I should be looking at that would support me, or like all these things. And so it's just like you know, I guess as I'm getting closer to graduation and stuff, I'm thinking more about it from that angle in terms of like the financial aspect. And like, and then literally the other day I was like, oh my God, I was like, should I be saving for retirement right now? I was like, scary.
And that's how I feel right now too, as like someone who's always worked like part-time due to just not being able to sustain like working full-time due to just like how my body reacts to the world. And I'm like, I don't know how much money, like, and that's where I'm like, I don't know how much money is like enough money. Like, you know, same thing where like, we talked about like in like last week's episode is like, we both still live at home. So like, we're not like fully providing for ourselves. So like, when my friends tell me like their salaries or go on about like hourly wages and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I almost have like no concept of like, if that's even enough to live on. Like, I hear like some people about like what they make per month and they're like, oh no, I'm still struggling. It's like, how? Like, I don't know how that's even like I understand. It's like, not like how they are still struggling, because obviously like shit in the world is not cheap. Like, you're paying rent, you're paying like monthly expenses that are keep going every single month. It's not like any of that stops. But like, how do you, like, I don't know how I would ever, like, I don't know how I'm going to sustain life being a chronically ill person in this country, living the way that I am right now, where, like, it's not like I'm going out and buying crazy shit every week. Like, I get paid and, like, I'm almost, like, living paycheck to paycheck in a way, and I have, like, money in savings, but, like, I know that money in savings is not going to be there forever. So, like, how do I get to a point where I'm, like, financially safe in any aspect that's not, like, also pushing my body to the brink of exhaustion?
Yep. And this is where we once again go, disabled people, capitalism don't mix. We weren't built for this.
I know. And it's just like, it makes me stressed, because I'm like, there has to be a way. Because what am I supposed, like, what is the future like if this isn't, like, it's like, if this doesn't mix now, how is it, like, where am I, like, is it ever going to mix? Am I ever going to be in a place where, like, I'm financially safe? That's, like, you know, and, like, I understand where, like, obviously you can, like, get married and things change or whatever, but, like, I don't want to have to rely on another person. I don't want to rely on another person for income. I don't want to rely on another person for my health insurance. Like, I need to be able to do this stuff by myself. So this way, it's almost like I have that trust in myself that this can happen.
Well, and it's like, yeah, because it's like, I mean, obviously no offense to, like, people who do that and are in a comfortable place to do that. But, like, no, I 100% get that, because I really, it's hard for me to imagine relying fully on another person. Because I have too many feelings around money and stuff, and like guilt and stuff, that I just don't think I would be able to do that. And also then it's like, okay, you're like literally actually codependent,
right?
Like, for your actual survival, like, on this other person. Like, I can understand with like health insurance and stuff, like, that's so normal for like couples to be on the same health insurance, like whoever's is better, cheaper, whatever. But it's like, otherwise, yeah, no, I really. And that's what gets me too, is like, I was looking up for people who, because I just, like, I was looking up, like, okay, for people who, it's pretty hard to qualify for SSDI, which is, like, as you're working, like, you're paying into Social Security Disability, like, you're earning credits, but you have to have so many credits to actually qualify for that it's, like, very difficult to. And so then it's like, okay, well, your other option is SSI. Well, you have to have fucking nothing to qualify for that, and you can't be married, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, there's just, like, there's no, and that's what kills me is, like, if SSI was actually updated, it should be able to support someone like you, who you're like, I can work part-time, where, like, it should actually be a literal supplemental income instead of supplementing the legal $85 you're allowed to make before it starts taking away your benefit. It's, like, so fucked up, and it just pisses me off, because it's like, yeah, if you can't work full-time, then your other option is to be in government-sanctioned poverty and not work at all, which, like, that sucks, because you enjoy working and you want to work.
If I was this, like, and I say this all the time, like, if I was in a different scenario in my life, I would love to be able to, like, afford health insurance through a job. I would love to be able to work 40, like, yeah, again, with, like, digging my teeth into, like, capitalism, but, like, if this is what I need to do to survive, I would do to survive. Right now, I cannot. And I don't know when in the future if I'll be able to. Like, I try to get to this point where I'm like, oh, like, I'm, you know, like, the new medications that I'm on, like, I'm feeling better. Like, I want to get to this point. But then, like, I still deal with my chronic pain, like, every single day. So, like, you know, like I just said before about working, like, a 10-hour workday. It's like, that was great. But that Friday, like, the day after, I pay for it then. And I can't keep doing that because, like, that's not, I am wearing myself down, obviously. And, like, also just, like, that's how, like, I cannot allot time every day, like, the day after I work to have time to rest.
Exactly.
And, like, I feel like I always, and the worst thing is that I always end up comparing myself to, like, my able-bodied friends or just people my own age who, like, literally don't go through this, who, like, were able to go to college and get a degree and be able to go right into a job that, you know, was for what they meant to major in, move up in whatever companies they're working in. Like, a lot of these people, like, just started off on, like, a better foot than I did. And I'm like, now we're at the same age where I'm like, if y'all had to live how I live, you would walk into the ocean with cinder block shoes. Like, there's no way that you'd be able to do any of this. And, like, I don't know how I'm even doing any of this. Like, how can I even, like, I get stressed about, like, next year where, like, I'm going to have to be on, like, my own health insurance plan next year that I can get through the state. But, like, in that case of, like, where I know people that are on the health insurance through, like, Get Covered NJ, and it's like they're paying a monthly payment. It's like, you know, because you can afford to pay a monthly payment. Like, I'm most likely not going to be paying anything because of the fact that I'm in poverty. Like, I don't make enough money to be, for them to see me like, okay, well, you cannot afford a healthcare plan that's like, it's X amount of money or whatever. So I'm kind of just like, yeah, man, I don't know what to do. And, like, the more I think about it, like, the more I get upset and, like, anxious about it. But, like, I don't know what my options are. Like, I don't know how to get past this.
Well, and that's what kills me, too, is, like, the path to more, like, accessible jobs is filled with so many barriers, like, in terms of, like, yeah, it, like, that's literally the only, I mean, obviously I get so much out of my college education, blah, 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 but almost the only reason I was motivated to get a bachelor's degree, and why anytime people are like, you don't really need it, you have so much experience now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you don't know what it's literally like to be disabled and have to compete with able-bodied people and have to, like, just all of it is, I'm like, because as we talked about in the work episode, it's like when I was 16, I wanted to work, and the jobs that were accessible to me required a bachelor's degree, even though it was, like, answering phones or whatever. So it's like, that's what kills me is, like, as we talked about in the college episode, wow, we put out so many informative episodes.
Yes.
That it's like, obviously there's so many barriers. As you talked about, you were like, going to college right now doesn't, like, you know, continuing your education didn't make sense. Like, there were so many things that just, yeah. Do you ever want to, I'm like having prophecies for, like, your life. I'm like, do you want to go into, like, book publishing? I'm like, you need to write that book.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, ideally, I would love to get a job in writing, whether it be for like not magazines are kind of dead medium. Sorry guys, but like like online stuff. They're like good opportunities, but there's always a catch where it's like it's not a full-time gig. You're only employed for like X amount of months out of the year. A lot of them don't offer benefits, and you're, you know, and it's like, but that's the thing where I'm like, that's like the most accessible thing to me right now is like a job where I can work from home in that way. And like, you know, because I'm like, I'm very grateful, like in the place right now where I'm working is that like everybody works with like my needs and things like that. I just like, I don't know, just like I can't keep doing this forever. Like I cannot just be on my feet like this forever because like I'm already feeling worn down. But I would like to go into, that's where I'm like, I would ideally like to be in some type of thing like we said, like book publishing, right? Like, you know, shooting for the stars type of dream of like something like that where I can like release like some work of writing when I can, like periodically make money off of that. And then like the time that I'm not working, it's like I'm able to rest. And that's when I'm able to like, you know, work on new things. It's like, you know, you have this peak of just like, yeah, you release a book, you release like some type of writing, you can make money off of that in the meantime while you're doing your next project. Like, I'd love to get into that, but I also just like, it makes me nervous. And then I'm like, I don't know how. And I don't know how to look for jobs like that. Because I've looked for like writing jobs online, just like, you know, look it up Indeed, right? Like doing like bare bones search of things. And I don't really think I have the qualifications. So I'm like, oh, well, I should go back to school. But now I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Go back to school, have student loans, and then like still have a hard time getting my foot in the door? Because again, you're competing with people who are able-bodied people that can go into the workplace all the time or don't have these like, you know, just don't have these barriers in place like I do.
I will say, if it's helpful at all, you are above the age of 24, so you should get fat financially.
That's true, because you've said that where it's like you're an independent person. That's why I waited. Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it goes off your income, and they're going to be like, haha, you're poor. Let's give you money.
No, you're right. I mean, I actually was like, I should go back to school for geology. And I'm like, girl, you would not be able to work in a field, like in an actual field. Like, you know what I mean?
I was not expecting that.
Like, I love that type of stuff, though. Like, I love science, but I'm like, I think that I would not be able to do, like, the field work that science requires. So I really would, and that's where I was, like, getting back in my tarot cards and stuff like that, because I'm like, maybe there is something, like, maybe I can find my own prophecy. That's, like, the word of this episode is prophecy. That can give me something, like, I can fall into, like, a place like this, because I've been journaling more, and I've been writing more, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe this is, like, a type of calling to me in some way. And it wouldn't really be too surprising to me, because I do like writing a lot, and I do like, I mean, even like other people that have CF, like, have built these careers almost in a way of like writing and like selling their work to different like online magazines and things like that. And I don't know, maybe that's something that's possible that I can, you know, strive for.
And like, Bessie, you know, we knew nothing about doing a podcast before we started doing a podcast. You probably knew nothing about running a small business before you started running a small business. Like, it's okay to not know things, and it's also badass that the internet has all the answers. Facts. Or maybe the answers are inside of you. It's blunt.
Oh, man, you're so right. Yeah, I mean,
I just believe in you so hard. Anything you want to do, you can
Thank you, bestie.
do it. But also, fuck capitalism, because that's what kills me is you're like, oh, like, you know, it's like, oh, I'll do all these, that. It's like, it just kills me that it all comes back to, like, having to do all of these things just to fucking survive. Right. As a person in general, but then especially as a chronically ill person, it's like, the concept of, like, you should be able to work as much as, like, makes sense for your body and whatever, and still have all your basic needs met. Not necessarily having to live at home with your parents if you don't want to at some point, you know? You should still have health care. Like, we just beat the same drum every time we record, but, like, listen, I'm just saying you deserve to have your basic needs met, but also, I think that you can also do anything you want.
That's, like, the crazy thing is when you think of, like, it's like the optimistic outlook in life versus like a nihilist outlook, and it's like, oh, like you can like do whatever you want because nothing matters type of thing. It's like both a positive affirmation and also just like a very like deep like what.
Right? I'm like, you can do anything you want, but also you shouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah. That's where I was like, actually today I was like having this like epiphany where I was like, I really should do a Cassie Wilson and delete Twitter, period. Because I think that that will free up so much of my time and pull me out of this like rut that I'm in. And I'm like, I can actually invest time into like, but things that will fill my cup more and things that will make me feel better.
Oh, yeah. This is just Cassie suggesting careers for Mariah. All right, here's the next one. Stand-up comedian. Well, you can sit down, though.
The thing is that like
that's your first joke. I just gave
thank
it right
you.
Wow.
To you. I've always thought of that, but like I don't know if I'm like I think I have a very niche form of like comedy that I don't know if it will hit people the right way. Like I cannot make like
You're right. It was built for Twitter.
Exactly.
But that's why I thought of it, because when you were like, quit Twitter, and I'm like, where does her comedy career go? But honestly, your Instagram stories are pretty fire. Maybe you should be a TikToker. Okay, rewind. That was me rewinding. I'm like, you should not be an influencer. If you're going to put a bunch of time into something, I just don't think it should be that.
Right, because that's a whole other thing of, like, again, before I just mentioned, like, people with CF that, like, become these, like, influencers in a way, and it's, like, I don't know how y'all are doing that. And then I also think that it's just a lot. Like, I also truly, I don't know if, like, micro-influencers in that way make that much money where, like, it's truly worth it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I was on a phase of, like, posting TikToks for a while that I was like, oh, these are funny. Like, I mean, next time I have a good tweet idea, instead of typing it, I should just, like, post a video of me, like, walking and have the tweet, over, like, what I would say. Like, I did that once with a TikTok when I was leaving work, and I was like, oh, like, this was actually really, like, fun. Like, I should just do shit like this, because I'm exposing myself to a bunch of new people that don't know my humor, and they probably think I'm hilarious.
But yeah, I'm very pro quitting Twitter. Today is my 30 days, my
Woo!
1 month without Twitter, and I regret nothing. It's still funny to me that I downloaded an app to track it as if it was going to be hard. And it's been underwhelming.
Wow. See, like, I feel like you said, where it's like, I just have funny thoughts sometimes, and I just can't keep that shit to myself. And, like, Twitter is the most accessible place to post it to.
Have you ever considered texting me? Because I'm not on Twitter.
Let me see if I had any good tweets lately I can read you.
I personally deserve...
Have you considered texting me?
I think texting me is a pretty accessible option.
It is. You're right.
That would bring joy to me. You would always get a response, never a 0-like tweet.
This is like probably what I could have texted you yesterday. I tweeted, being 26 feels crazy. I talked to the insurance woman today, and she said, I wish I was 26 again. And I was like, okay, can you just check why my prescription is pending? This isn't about you. I was like, maybe that's mean. Also, my mom called me to give me... Oh, this is another tweet I made. My mom called me to give me condolences about the submarine and asked me if I wanted a submarine sandwich from Wawa. And I was like, as if this woman saw a submarine and was like, it'd be good for dinner tonight.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. And then I texted you about how I broke my worry stone during my therapy session, right? Okay.
Yeah. And I said something like, worrying intensifies.
It was Garfield's birthday.
See, we can be a comedic duo in our texts.
And then we do have, I won't spoil it, but we do have a new segment coming next season. And maybe that's when I'll gather a bunch of these thoughts. I'll save it for then, That'd be a fire segment.
Just yeah. The segment is actually Mariah's stand-up comedian set right here, live on the pod. Pre-recorded, live on the pre-recorded 3 weeks ago. Oh my god. But would you say, like, I guess, yeah, like, I mean, I think from what you and I have talked about off the pod, like, it seems like, obviously, yeah, worrying about health insurance, worrying about literally how to support yourself are big things. Would you say there's other parts of your quarter life crisis?
I feel like a big thing, which, like, you know, you said, like, is, like, yeah, like, planning for my future, trying to, like, find, like, any concrete direction in my life. I feel like a lot of the times is, I don't know, I guess because, like, I always just observe people from, like, an outside perspective, where, like, a lot of times I really hate that whole, like, fake it till you make it mentality, because I don't think that necessarily is something that disabled people or chronically ill people can necessarily do. Like, I know some people that, like, fake it till they make it when they come to stuff with their business. And I'm like, how, though? Like, y'all are constantly posting and constantly doing things. Like, I don't think you're necessarily... Like, at some point, you're not faking it anymore. And you're actually doing it. And there's an interesting quote in BoJack Horseman where he was like... Where the one character, Mr. Peanut Butter, was like, oh, it's like you, like, how this girl's like, how are people actually happy? Like, you know, how do you even get to a point where you're happy? And it's like, oh, you just keep telling yourself you're happy. Like, you pretend that you're happy, and then one day you realize, like, you're no longer pretending, or, like, you forget that you're pretending. And I'm like, okay, like, that's, like, crazy. Like, I can't do that, though. Like, if I'm not happy, there's not a way I can actually be happy. But anyway, I don't know if there's anything else in my quarter life crisis, other than that having no direction in my life.
I mean, that's
just a big one.
That sounds pretty specifically quarter life crisis. That's you've got the crux of it.
I do think that, like, getting maybe like because I have my, like, ADHD, like, intake appointment next week, so I'm like, okay, maybe that will kind of help me, like, get out of my quarter life crisis, is getting diagnosed with ADHD. You know, like, maybe that will, like,
being able to manage that.
So maybe that would be, like, you know, the ladder that, like, descends gracefully from the heavens, and, like, the hole that I dug myself in, that I'm like, I can get out now.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, the direction thing is interesting, because I don't know. I feel like I have direction in that I'm like, yeah, I want to work in public service. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing that. But, like, there's also not really any way, like, there's no way for me to be any more sure than when I apply for and get a job after I graduate.
Yeah.
Because it just depends literally what's available. And when I tell you I am not applying for jobs until after we're done hanging out, like, I'm not going to be fucking taking interviews when I'm supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah, we're supposed to be at a bookstore staring at each other from across the room. You can't be applying to jobs.
Exactly. But it's hard. I don't know. Sometimes I like the uncertainty, because, like, there have been, like, cool jobs that have come up over the years that I'm like, wow, if only I was at a place in life. But I guess there's also this fear that, okay, cool, what happens when I graduate, and what if there's none of those cool jobs, you know? And it's like, how can I expect my first job to be some cool job? But, like, also, it would be nice to, like, get a job that's, like, one that I can grow into, or transition into other positions, or just, like, somewhere that I can be for a while would be really nice. Like, I have had so much change over the past few years that I think getting a job that supports me, that keeps me in one place, would be nice, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I strongly relate to the whole, like, oh, well, like, you see cool jobs now, and, like, what if they don't exist by the time that you, like, go through your schooling and your degrees? But then I also think, I'm like, well, what if other cool jobs show up, too? Like, what if there's, like, an exponential amount of cool jobs? Like,
true.
You know?
True. That's the thing. Life can be, and will be, I'm sure, much different, like, a year from now. And that's, you know, that's something else that we were talking about, is brain development. Because before we started recording, you texted me and said, sorry to burst your bubble, but the frontal lobe development thing is a myth. Not that it's a myth, but that the whole concept of, like, your brain being fully developed at 25 is a myth, which Fair. But I mean, I do think that, like, especially compared to high school to now, community college to now, like, just, like, the past 5-10 years, it's, like, my brain is at such a better place that I do feel like, in general, I'm at, like, a better place of, like, not, like, I feel more secure. I feel less like I'm constantly in crisis. I'm worrying less what other people think of me and stuff like that, even if I'm still, like, worried about overall what I'm doing with my life. I'm more chilled out.
That makes sense. No, I mean, like, I felt like it was, like, I guess because, like, I was looking at it from the standpoint of, like, you know, once you turn 25, you know, it's obviously not like you're going to wake up that day and feel great. But it's like everybody's brains are like, we just like adapt to the different like paths that we are in life, where like some people obviously like go through like more like traumatic shit like later in their lives, like you're in their 20s and like you're dealing with that. So like, you know, your frontal lobe or like your brain is just responding to like whatever's like in your direct like vicinity throughout that entire period, where like I do think though, like through your mid-20s is like that's when your brain is like, okay, like this, like who you are right now is like who you're going to be, because you've had all this time, like, you know, of this like post high school, post like college, and even like you said, where it's like you get older and you don't really give a shit about what people think about you or what people like, you know, perceive you as.
Well, that's like to me kind of where like the brain development thing comes in, is like, especially a lot of my younger friends will be like, how do you like not overthink about this? How do you not, or like, how do you handle this? And I'm like, I don't know, because it used to be hard for me. And now I'm like, I either just don't care. Like, I'm literally more chilled out. And I genuinely, I mean, sure, obviously we learn and grow, blah, blah. But like, I genuinely think I'm like, I think my brain's just like getting cooked up there in a good way.
No, I believe that.
not like fried. it's like doing some brain shit up there, and I'm like, cool.
Like, thanks, brain. I do think, which I like always tried to talk about this in therapy, but I really couldn't know how to word it. And then of course I see a tweet that makes everything make sense. I do think my constant use of marijuana in my early 20s cooked my brain in a bad way, because I've seen a lot of people say where like the elasticity, what does it mean, like elasticity of your brain changes when you're like using weed, because like weed affects your like brain, whereas like alcohol affects like organs like your liver and things like that. And like, because someone's like, oh yeah, whenever I get stoned, like I can't, like I just lay on the couch, like I can't do anything else. And it's like, well, because you like don't read, or like you don't use your brain otherwise, like other than just for daily functions. So it's like some people like respond great when they're like on, you know, marijuana, and like some people don't. And like I do think that like my use of weed has like made my brain smooth, like, and that's where I even have an issue where I don't want to go back to it, because I'm afraid of like literally losing the like progress that I've made in like my brain since I've stopped, because I do think my mental health is like significantly a lot better than it was when I was stoned. And like I said this, we're doing a lot of throwbacks this episode of like, you know, we talked about this in our drug use episode, where I felt like my brain like was underperforming, and now I'm like, oh well, maybe like it's because I was stoned all the time and my brain was constantly like starting from scratch every day. You know,
I mean, the good thing is at least you got some pictures of your brain.
Yes,
and they said it was a bountiful.
No, literally, my auntie said it was beautiful. Like that, my brain was beautiful, and I was like, "That's so surprising that there's no ghosts in there," because I swore that shit was haunted. But yeah, like and that's where I was like, you know what? Maybe my frontal lobe is still like, she's still working on herself, because like I did set her back a little bit from taking an edible every single day for 3 years straight. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. But yeah, I do think it's like funny when people are like, yeah, like when younger people, it's like, they're like, oh, how do you know these things? I'm like, oh, you just like do, I guess. Like you're just go through, you just have to experience life and you learn.
And it's weird because it's like, it's things that like can make you feel anxious over and over and over and over, and one day it just doesn't. And it's weird. I don't get it. It.
It's like, I look at your like ADHD medication, and I'm like, I'll have what she's having, because I overthink things to the point where, like, I will think about the same thought every day for a week straight, and then my brain's like, okay, we're done. But I'm like, that was the worst week of my life. Like, so maybe your frontal lobe development is actually due to the fact that, like, your meds work.
That, that's definitely probably a big part of it. I also think, this is kind of related to also what we talked about last week, is just like, I don't know, I feel like quarter life crisis and stuff also just kind of goes, and it's like what you were saying about like comparing yourself to other people and stuff, it's like, kind of goes with that like milestone anxiety that we talked about, because it's like, I mean, nobody's at the same place in life at all, but it's like, I don't know, I guess because growing up you are literally actually in the same place in life as everybody. Yes. You're in the 4th grade with all the other 4th graders. And so it did make sense to look around and go, am I on the same track as everybody else? And then you get into adulthood and that's not how it works anymore. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's easy to be like, oh my God, I'm a quarter of the way through my life or more. I used to want to live to be, what did I want to be? I wanted to be like 102. I wanted to live to the year 2100.
Okay.
I wanted to see what the world was like, but that was before I knew climate change was already here. And so now I'm personally good.
See, that's where, like, it's interesting to think when you said before about being 50 and that's your, like, midlife crisis. Because I'm like, that's high hopes that somebody with a terminal illness is going to live till 100. We are setting the bar dramatically high. But, and that's where, like...
Damn, modern medicine, man.
And that's, like, again, like, I've talked about this on multiple episodes of dealing with your mortality as a teenager, yada, yada, yada. We get the whole song and dance. Put away that soapbox. And that's where, again, I've this also, like, a milestone anxiety of just, like, I feel like it's like, everybody else was like, yeah, I'm going to go to college and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't know I was going to still be here. So, like, I had a hard time planning for this. And, like, of going, like, seeing all my friends go through these jobs and all these life experiences. And I'm like, shit, like, I'm not, like, we are in all these different places. And I really wasn't expecting to be in the place that I currently am in right now. Because, again, I didn't plan to be here, which, like, is a whole other thing I understand. But I just, I was listening to the Psychology of Your 20s, which is a podcast I feel like we referenced a decent amount in this podcast Inception. And I was, one of her past episodes, she had on a 24-year-old guy that lives in Australia that has cystic fibrosis. And when I read the description of the episode, I started to get, like, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, because this guy's, like, he's a successful, like, real estate agent. He was starting his own podcast, and, like, he just had so much more, like, I felt like he just had so much more to offer to the world than, like, someone like me, who, like, I'm 26 and I have CF and I live in America. Like, I feel like, I was, like, comparing myself really hard to him, and, like, listening to him talk on the episode, like, I couldn't even finish it because it was making me, like, I was like, I'm comparing myself to somebody who has the same illness as me, but, like, I also don't know their upbringing. I don't know, like, their financial status, like, but, like, just knowing that he at least sounds more successful than I am, like, this is kind of, like, it was really getting to me. I didn't finish the episode, like I said, because I couldn't do it anymore. And, like, I know it's not his fault, and it's not her fault either for, like, hosting the podcast, obviously, but, like, it's just more of a me thing of just, like, the way that I was, like, I feel like I'm going to react to this was, like, gonna be very negative for me to, like, listen to something like this, because I'm, like, comparing myself to, like, someone who I am, because my brain is like, oh yeah, this is who you should be comparing yourself to, like, not all these able-bodied people in the world, like, you should be comparing yourself to somebody else who also has your illness. But, like, the trick is that, or it's like, the down part is that, like, you're comparing yourself to somebody who has the same illness as you, who's, like, significantly doing better than you. And, like, that is what I was like, shit, like, this is, I don't know, like, I just was really, like, I'm like, great, and I have, like, milestone anxiety, but, like, with somebody that, like, I felt like we started out on the same foot, too.
Right. It's, It does always kind of amaze me, though, when disabled and chronically ill people, like, live the inspo porn life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, they believe it themselves, in terms of, like, overcoming whatever, you know, their disability or chronic illness or whatever, and it's like, I don't know. I'm like, are you just ignoring all the ways that the world discriminates against you, or are you just not discriminated against in that same way, or did you start out with many legs up and are just at a different place, or are you a man?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was like, you know, listening to this, I was like, oh wow, that's so, like, you know, hearing him, like, it was like hearing him talk where he was like, oh, I was raised where, like, never let your illness, like, get in the way of your life, like, this whole thing from your parents and things like that. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, because my parents were the same way of just, like, we would treat you like a normal child, like, you did everything that you were able to do, XYZ. But, like, at some point, it's like, now you're the guiding factor in your life. Your parents are not guiding you anymore. So it's like, instead of, like, you know, being a kid who, like, oh, I'm gonna go play out on the playground even though, like, I physically don't feel well, it's like, as an adult, I'm like, no, I have to, like, allow myself to have these setbacks because I cannot keep pushing myself, because I know that it always has negative effects on me if I push myself. And, like, hearing him talking, say stuff like, you know, I just was always like, it doesn't sound like you're somebody who, like, had to work for the same things in the same way that I did. And, like, I don't know if it's due to the fact of, like, you know, like, class difference, or even, like, how Australia, like, their schooling system's a lot different than here in the U.S., or even because you're a man, like, you know, all these, like, other factors that contribute it. But, yeah, it's also just, like, don't you, like, I'm like, you're, like, talking to other able-bodied people as if they, like, understand. They're just like, wow, you did all these incredible things even though you have, a chronic illness. And it's like, why are you pandering to them? Like, why are you appealing to them in that way?
Yeah. I also feel like kind of another part of, like, the quarter life crisis thing is, like, we're constantly questioning, like, what we're doing with our lives, but, like, I feel like we almost do it on an individual level. Like, like, we're not collectively crisising together. And it's interesting because we're like, we act like everyone else knows what they're doing.
True.
No one knows what the hell they're doing. I'm just thinking, like, other people are listening to this, like, of all ages, and they're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Nobody knows. I guess we are all just faking until we make.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think a lot of people, like, just at least, like, do it better than others. Like, they have their own, like, they deal with a lot more of their stuff, like, internally, where, like, I feel like there's only so much I can do and so much I can feel internally before I get to this point where I'm like, give me that microphone, I gotta talk about this stuff, because I don't know how else you guys are doing this. But, like, I know other people are in the same way. Like, I know other people who, like, you know, they went to school and they're doing a completely different thing, or they didn't go to school, yet they're, like, still, like, fulfilling their dream in some way. Like, I guess it's really just, like, that whole, like, lightning strikes and you gotta, like, take advantage of that moment sort of thing. And that's where, like, you'll find out what you want to do. But, I don't know. Yeah. I know a lot of people are also feeling like this too, but I guess it's just something where, like, it gives me, like, solace, and I feel better when I talk about it with people who don't know what they're doing, because I'm like, okay, like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's because of my chronic illness, but also, like, even if I wasn't chronically ill, I could still be going through this.
Facts. Yeah, no. And, like, I don't know, I think about throwback to another damn episode when we were talking about, like, astrology, and you were like, yes, I perceive you as somebody who's really got their shit together. And I'm like, that's nice. Wish it felt like that.
You do a great job at being perceived. Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just a lot to be going through this, and to, like, kind of feel like there's no resolution in a way either. You're like, oh, I guess I just have to, like, oh, if you want a certain job, like, strive for it, and then just see what happens.
Well, and that's what's, like, kind of annoying and interesting is, like, does the quarter life crisis ever really end? I mean, I guess if anything, all you're striving for is more stability and more, I guess, certainty about at least the near term of your life, like the next few years, what it'll look like.
Yeah.
And we're at an age where, I mean, when health insurance has to be part of your quarter life crisis, it sucks.
Yeah. It's like makes it a lot more real. Like, this isn't just like, oh, I'm dealing with my, like, own personal demons. It's like, okay, well, I'm, like, if I get sick because of these demons, how am I going to, get what I need to, to survive? I don't know. I have a lot of friends that are like, well, just get married. And I'm like, okay, but, like, what about, like, what happens when you actually find someone that you love? Then all of a sudden we got to get a divorce? Can I still have your health insurance?
Facts. Yeah, can you negotiate that? Can you negotiate corporate health insurance in a divorce?
I've seen on Reddit where people say, like, they'll want to get a divorce, but, like, they have to get legally separated instead. So this way, like, if the person's on the other person's health insurance, they, like, don't get you just can't get married. I think you just, like, can't get married to the person that you, like, fall in love with in the future, because, like, if you're still on the health insurance of another person, I don't know. This is Reddit. I mean, it's not like this is solid info.
You're like, I've looked up all the options.
And like my therapist says, I have to sit with the uncertainty that life offers. But, like, that's hard.
See, and you said that was something you were grateful for a few weeks ago, and I'm like, uncertainty makes me want to throw up.
I guess, like, in this, okay, well, like, I guess the uncertainty of, like, right now in my life, where I'm like, oh, I can just, like, take my time, figure out what I want to do in my future, whatever. But, like, when it comes to uncertainty of, like, okay, well, you need a job for health insurance, or you need money to pay for health insurance, it's like, that's where
that makes sense.
Like, okay, actually, this is real.
You know what? Yeah, it's like we're comfortable with the uncertainty of maybe not knowing what we're actually doing, but we're not comfortable with, like, the financial insecurity and lack of stability and all of that.
Exactly. Because, like, like you said before, it's like life can change in a year, and all these things can change. So it's like, if you're, I don't know, but you can't predict change. You can't predict that stuff happening. So, I mean, in a way you can,
like, some of it's predictable in the sense that I know when I graduate, I'm going to take a month off, then I'm going to apply to jobs, then hopefully I'll have a full-time job for as long as it makes sense for me to be at that job, and hopefully that's several years or what, like, stuff like that. Where it's like, I know that, like, in 10 weeks I'll be, like, on summer vet. Like, it's like there's, like, some timeline stuff that's more predictable, but it's like still right now, like, instability is almost my most predictable thing, which is annoying, but at least it's predictable.
Yeah.
After that, it's the void. That's so scary. Graduating is actually jumping into the void.
Right, jumping in the void and plugging your nose.
But at least, like, we'll get to, I don't know, eat snacks together.
Stare at each other, eat snacks, sit outside. All the hot girl things.
In the shade.
On a blanket, wearing SPF 50. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm like, I think I got, like, too much. And, like, everyone says, like, when I have these conversations, people are like, I think you have too much time on your hands. I'm like, yeah, but, like, I don't have a timeline. Like, I don't have a consistent timeline. So I'm like, maybe that's what I need to build and, like, work towards, is, like, adding these things into my routine of, like,
you need a 5-year plan, baby.
Maybe I do need to have, maybe that's the moral of this episode, is that I should, like, my quarter life crisis can be cured by, like, creating some type of 5-year plan for myself that's even just, like, a loose 5-year plan. Like, things I want to, like, not even things I want to accomplish, but, like, before I'm 30, like, to get these things under my belt. Because if I actually think about a 5-year plan, that means I'll be 31, and that makes me want to throw up.
That's disgusting, actually. That's horrifying, because if I made one, I'd be 30, and that's concerning. I used to do a 5-year plan, but like you said, it's loose. It's more in a way of, like I was describing before, of it's more like, I know or expect I will be doing this general thing this year. So it's like, I know, like, I knew that I would, like, even when I graduated community college, I knew that I would be going back to school, like, in 2022, like, that kind of thing. And so I would write, like, school. And then, like, for after I graduated, I had originally written, like, run for office, and then politics derailed that. But it's like, now I'm like, okay, well, I know that I'm going to work. and that's kind of what the foreseeable future is. But I'm sure at some point then I'll add, like, move out to that. You know, it's like things like that that'll get added in.
And they're, like, completely attainable goals, too. Like, they're things that aren't, like...
literally just work. No specific job, just work full-time. That's, like, just whatever. Doesn't matter what it is.
Wow, journaling is going to hit hard tonight.
I'm excited for you.
Now I have this new look on life.
Oh my god. Done. Quarter life crisis? Done.
Wiping my hands of it. I'm going to journal tonight. We're going to do a whole thing. I'm going to do a whole ritual and come out a new person.
No,
go through the portal.
That's good shit. I feel like I don't know. Wow. So our last segment is just kind of some bullshit.
Yeah.
Because listen, at this point, we love our ending segment format, but like we're just so excited for our segment for next season that it's like, you know, we're just holding out.
It's like the last week of school over here. Like we're literally just like the teacher's rolling in the TV card every day in class, and you just can't wait to be done, but like in a good way, because you want to move on to the next grade.
Yes, exactly. So I personally just wanted to share some favorite quotes from an actual personal audio message I received from Mariah yesterday. By audio message, I mean like an 19 minute podcast. I told her about how I had been sitting and rotting, and she said, "Yeah, it's rotting girl summer." Which I'm like, it's not hot girl summer, it's rot girl summer.
Yes.
So, really liked that. And then when you were talking about, like, not knowing if your health insurance expired, which this is something I have heavily Googled about my own insurance. Because I'm like, does Cigna, like, kick you off this day you turn 26? There is no clear answer anywhere online.
No, there's not. You have to actually call your health insurance provider and discuss this with them, because mine was the same thing. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield was like, no, you're covered until, like, you're covered for your entire 26 years, to the end of the calendar year. Whereas, but like a lot of my friends, it was the week after they turned 26 was when they were cut off.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, but you said, how? You were referring to how are you supposed to know if your health insurance is expiring? You said, how? My intuition? Am I supposed to get messages from God? My tarot cards are supposed to tell me my health insurance is expiring?
That was a good one.
It was really good. And then, not from an audio message, but from the hit Disney movie Princess Diaries, the Queen is never late. Everyone else is simply early. And honestly, I wrote that one down because I really want to memorize it, because I really want to just start dropping that anytime I show up late.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
The Queen is never late. Everyone else is simply early.
I can't wait for me to come visit and us to watch a new Disney Channel original movie every single night.
I had to Google it. Princess Diaries was released in theaters, both of them. They were not Disney Channel original movies.
Wait. No, because they're not, right, like, they were, like, produced by Disney, but, like, it's not, like, the same vein of, like...
It's got the Walt Disney when it starts.
Oh.
I was like, shit, this was, like, legit. No wonder it's so good. Whereas, like, I'm pretty sure Ice Princess had, like, you could feel the commercial breaks.
Right, like, when, like, that specific fade to black.
Yeah. But no, we'll be really, my dream is to go through the movies on Disney Plus, like, A to Z.
Okay.
But my problem is I like rewatching stuff. But there have been so many new, like, because I love, like, Disney Pixar, so it's like, there have been so many new Disney Pixar movies over the last several years that I just haven't watched, so it's like, I do need to watch those.
That's, like, my plan before I go back to Disney in October, is to watch, like, a few of, like, I want to watch, like, Encanto, I want to watch Coco, I want to watch just, like, a lot of those newer ones that came out within the past, like, 5 years or so, like Frozen 2, like, I haven't seen a lot
Red,
of those.
Yes, was there, like, an Inside Out 2? There's, like, Toy Story's released, like, several more movies.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, like, I want to watch... I would watch Elemental. I know that one just came out, and it's tanking at the box office. But I think that's.
I still haven't even seen Brave.
No, I haven't either. Yeah, so I do want to watch a lot of those movies before, because I know like for Disney in October they're gonna have like stuff like that, and I'm like, I should know who these characters are before I go.
So. I forget, are you going to be in Disney on Halloween?
No, we're going to be there the first week of October. Why?
I was going to say, so you're going to dress up as the curio shop guy at Disney, but darn.
No, I was actually thinking I may, I don't really...
You need big Halloween plans, though.
Well, like, what I did the past few years is that I have a vendor event that weekend, which that was kind of fun, because, like, that would make me want to put an outfit together. Like, last year, I had a vendor event like the Friday before Halloween, so I went as a dragon, which that was really fun. I like made my own costume. I did like face makeup, like not crazy, but like I took a fishnet stocking and I put it over my face, and then I did like blue and green glitter eyeshadow.
Not crazy, I'm just extremely talented.
Well, it wasn't like face makeup that you got from like a Spirit Halloween. It was like I just used like fun eyeshadow, and then I was a witch because I did another vendor event that day too. And then on Halloween itself, my cousin and I actually walked around trick-or-treating in her neighborhood because we were bored. And I think I just had a witch hat, so I put the witch hat on, and she put on like an angel halo, and a bunch of people were like, no one came around trick-or-treating, so we'll just give you guys everything. It was actually pretty nice. And I'm like, I am 25.
Good.
And I was like, this is amazing. But, yeah, I don't really know what our group is going to do for our Halloween outfits yet, because... we gotta figure it out. I want to be Slinky Dog.
Get zooted on Slinky Dog Dash again.
Everybody else gets obsessed with, like, I don't know, like, more reasonable characters. I get obsessed with like, a B-side Toy Story character.
Listen, you're discriminating against your fave right now, and I won't stand for it. No Slinky Dog slander. That really flew.
They're changing the Slinky Dog Dash ride to Slinky Dog Slander. Anyway.
One more episode to go, baby.
I have to come up with birthday questions for you. The same way you did for me. That would be really fun. It's going to be an extravaganza for your birthday episode, too.
It's going to be an adventure.
It only makes sense. We have a lot. It's like 3 different topics in one that episode.
Oh yeah, there's a lot happening.
It's gonna be a good season finale.
Damn right. But we'll leave you all in suspense.
Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Be sure to follow the Cassie and Mariah Show wherever you listen to podcasts, at TCMS Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and look out for new episodes every Wednesday.
Bye.